Hey, Daryl here from Victory 4x4. Today I'm going to show you how to install our Tacoma rock sliders. They're made for the 2nd gen or 3rd gen Tacomas. We designed them to be used as a step or take a ton of off-road abuse. There's an optional no drill install for those of you who are afraid to drill new holes in your truck, or if you drill 2 additional holes, you can do full body weight slams on these guys. Let's get them installed. So the first thing you're going to want to do is remove this bolt right here that bolts the cross member into the frame rails. You're going to use a 14mm socket or a 14mm box end wrench. Next, you're going to grab either a flat blade screwdriver or one of these handy dash clip tools and pop this wiring harness. There's 2 clips right there. Just going to kind of move that away from the frame. Now you're going to take a flat blade screwdriver or this tool again and pop this plastic cap off here. And then also this is like a sticker, just peel that off. Then take this plate we provide and slide it in the square hole in the cross member. That's for later, but once we get the slider on there, we won't be able to get to that hole. Now you're going to want to remove these 2 nuts here with a 12mm socket, and they're just attached to an electronics box inside the frame rail. So once you remove these 2 nuts, just move that box out of the way for now. Next, you want to grab some friends or a floor jack, and since all my friends appear to be missing right now, I'll do it myself with a floor jack. Put a piece of wood between the slider and the jack so you don't scratch everything up. And just go ahead and just jack it up into place, kind of in the area where you think it's going to go between the wheels. After you get this jack up into place, make sure you look out for this wire harness right here. You want to make sure that you don't pinch it between the slider and the frame rail. Once you get the slider jacked up into place, you're going to replace the bolt that you removed earlier with the bolt that we supply into that same cross member. So we're just going to loosely bolt this in right now, but it's going to help locate the slider from front to back. Alright, so now we're going to loosely install the 5 side mount bolts, and for that we supply these 1/2 inch by 1 inch or so long bolts. And you're going to want to put these from the inside outward, just because on the driver's side there's a bunch of fuel lines and brake lines and stuff, and it's a lot better for clearance if you put the head on the inside and then this on the outside. So what you're going to do is you're going to grab this 1/2 inch bolt with a 1/2 inch washer and back that up by this big thick 3/4 inch washer, and that'll take care of any of the excess size of the slots on the factory frame of the Tacoma. Then on the outside you're going to put another 1/2 inch washer and then this 1/2 inch serrated lock nut. Now go ahead and install all 5 of these down the frame rail and just loosely install them for now. Now for some of these you're going to see where the bolt is actually contacting these brake hoses here. So what you want to do is once you get the bolt through and get that outer lock nut loosely on there, just carefully grab these brake lines and just flex them a little bit up out of the way. Don't go crazy with it, but you're just moving them up out of the way so that they don't rub on that bolt. And that's enough right there, where they're still in the clip, but they're not rubbing on the bolt or on the washer. Now leave this electronic box hung down here until you get everything tightened up, and then that'll just go right over the top of that bolt. Whoop. All right, so these two are gonna suck, and I'm sorry ahead of time. On the driver's side, it's gonna make it easier if you remove this brake line bracket here. So just go ahead and take a 12mm socket or end wrench and pull this one bolt right here. And then you can pop this brake lines out of their clip on the frame here, carefully. And you can very carefully kind of move this up out of the way to give yourself a little bit of room. All right, here's the part I feel bad for, and you may want to find someone with small hands and small arms, but you're gonna have to actually reach up in here with this bolt ready to go to get this very front mount, and the back one's not as bad, but the front one's the one that kind of stinks. So I'm just gonna have to reach up in there and push it through. Ow. And then once you get it through, grab your washer and your nut on the other side here. Now, about the easiest way to do this is to take a magnet and put this 1/2" nut on there and then fish it in this hole here in the back. And then line up the plate that you installed earlier and take a 1/2" bolt and a washer and just catch that serrated lock nut that's on the magnet. Once you get it started, you can pull that off. And since that nut is serrated, you should be able to tighten this down without too much need to hold the nut. Now there's two optional holes on the bottom of these sliders. There's one right here in the front and one in the very back. And if you're just using these slider screws to the mall or using them for steps and that kind of thing, you know, these aren't necessary. You don't have to drill into your frame. But if you're gonna use these for rock crawling and you wanna do like full body weight drops onto these sliders, you're gonna have to drill these holes. So you have to step up to a 1/2" bit, start small, and the frame is pretty thick here, so it might take you a little while. All right, that's it, unless you're gonna install the optional underneath bolts. If you are, do that right now after everything's all tightened up. It'll make sure that the bolt holes are exactly where you want them. But if you're not, you're good to go. Now you're gonna do the exact same process on the opposite side, except you won't have to move that electrical little box and you won't have to move the brake line to wedge your hand up inside of that frame rail. If you have any issues installing these sliders, please don't hesitate to give us a call or shoot us an email. Thanks for buying Victory 4x4 product, and thanks for watching this video. Have a great day.